Hi everyone, Rob O'Neill here, Aylesbury Modern Combat Karate. Welcome to the Sunday sessions. These are the informal unscripted sessions that we do every week, discussing an element of karate or the wider martial arts in general, see where it is we're doing well and what we can build on, and where we're doing not so well, and things I think we need to look at fixing. In today's video we're going to be discussing weakness, not just physical but all kinds of weakness and what we can do about it. So the reason this comes up is from an experience that I had very recently at an MMA gym while I was doing some MMA training, and this came up because of an interaction that one of the training partners I had with the coach. Now, particularly when class sizes are small, sometimes you have to train with people who are different sizes to you. And what I'm not discussing today is the differences in physical strength. And what I'm definitely not talking about is people who decide that they are unfit or weak or don't feel like they can defend themselves and decide to take up the martial arts or a combat sport to fix that. Those people have already overcome that weakness. Those people are already now strong because they've identified that issue and they're taking steps to fix it. So what I'm going to be discussing today is the kind of weakness that leads to blaming other people for your failures and leads to not working on improving yourself. So as I've said, often if classes are small, you'll end up training with people who are different sizes to you, or you might end up training men and women together where there's a size and a strength difference there. And that's an obvious disadvantage to one partner, which is why strength sports have weight classes and gendered categories. So I've fought people in MMA classes who are much smaller than me, and I've thrown them around, and a lot, some of them have been much better at grappling than me, for example, or have had much longer range, and they've done pretty well against me. Some haven't been as good, and I've done pretty well against them, and it's it's a give and a take. You identify what's going wrong, you do your best to overcome that disadvantage that you have, and at the end of the day it's training. We're there, we're having fun, we're working together, and everyone's overcoming their different issues together. The issue that we have arises when people won't take responsibility for their own insufficiencies, or won't work to overcome a flaw in themselves. So the example I had is I was grappling on the ground with another lad, and I'm quite a bit bigger than he is, and significantly stronger than he is, so he was getting me into side control and I was reversing him each time. At the end of the training exercise, so we were doing 3 rounds of 3 minutes apiece for each person, and then after that we'd swap person and that person would be the focus. So at the end of my 3 rounds, the coach came up to him and he said, "Look, just noticed that every time you were getting into side control he was reversing it on you. It's perhaps not a good position for you, or you might want to try something different against this guy specifically, or it might just be a position that you're not very good from and you might want to work on that, or look at different guard passes so you end up in different positions," and useful coaching tips to help him with his game. The issue was the response was not, that's really good, that's really helpful, I'll take that on board and I'll work on that, and I don't find very many people bigger than me, so it was a difficult experience, but hopefully I can learn something from it. The guy's response who I'd been grappling with was, well, he's much heavier than me, so it's unfair. As I've said, this is a fact. I'm heavier than some people, and that gives me an advantage in some places. Some people have much longer arms than I have, and that gives them an advantage over me in some places. Some people have much better technique than I have, and that gives them an advantage in some places. So the guy would not accept from the coach that it wasn't actually just because I'm heavier and stronger than he is. He rightly said there are 75 kilo guys in their gym who will just absolutely take me to pieces. So the guy would not accept this. He was like, no, it's because he's different weight than me. I'd never fight a guy that weight in an actual match. This is really unfair, and this isn't a way I like training, and so on and so on. And it came to a point where in later drills in the session, he refused to grapple with me. So the way we were rotating through, so we had 3 partners, one who was the main focus, one who would stand and strike with them, one who would grapple with them. The third guy we were with was really struggling. His fitness wasn't that good. To be fair to him, he admitted that. He said, look, I'm really struggling. My fitness isn't at all where it needs to be. And I'm going to have to sit out for some of it, and I'm really trying hard, but I can't do it. And he and I had quite a nice conversation at the end about things he could do to build that, and he was really receptive to some of that. But it got to the point where he was actually struggling to be a partner to the guy who is the focus of this video. And so I said, we'll swap. You hold pads for him, and he can hit pads, and I'll grapple him on the ground. And the guy who's the focus of this video absolutely refused. Said, no, I'm not grappling you at all. I'm not doing it at all anymore. I've done it for while it was your rounds. I'm not doing it for mine. I'm not going to do that. This, to me, is a terrible way to try and learn anything. To me, the more adverse situations you can expose yourself to, the better your learning process is going to be. The greater the struggle that you have to overcome, the better you are eventually going to become. And this was, in an hour and a half session, we were done with my section after about the first 20-25 minutes. So we're talking at least an hour of him just point blank refusing to get on the ground with me, even when we were doing some technical drills in the cage later. He was trying to set it up so that I would be with the other guy and he would be with the other guy. Unfortunately, because the other guy was struggling with his fitness level, he actually stepped out, and we ended up it just being the 2 of us doing these technical drills. He was not happy about this. But the point of this video is that if you find someone who outweighs you, or is much stronger than you, or outreaches you, or just outclasses you, use that, okay? Use that and train with those people as hard as you can, because you will learn so much more from them than just sticking with people that you can beat, okay? If you only fight people you can beat, if you're the biggest shark in a small pond, you're never going to be as good as you can be. You need to go out and find places where you are the smallest fish in that pond, where there are loads of people who are better than you, where there are loads of people who can beat you in loads of different ways. You need to fight with all of those people, spar with all of those people, train with all of those people, and you need to get every element of your game better through fighting those people, because a lot of what we do in our club is very practically focused. If you're in a non-consensual violent situation outside, you don't get to choose the person who's attacking you. You don't get to say, look, I'm sorry, but I understand that you're angry. I understand that I've done this and it's upset you, or this has happened and you're angry, or you're a violent criminal and you're trying to attack me. But actually, you've got a couple of inches on me. I think you've got a couple of pounds on me too. And look at your wingspan compared to mine. Could you go away, get a buddy who's a bit more my size, come back and have him mug me? It doesn't happen. Yeah? So for us particularly, where we're doing practical stuff, working that asymmetry is really useful for us. But working that asymmetry is really useful even in sports that have a symmetrical component where you're fighting people roughly your own size, because you're never going to be the same build as those people just because you're the same weight. You're never going to, have the same strength levels as those people just because you're the same weight. And that variation is going to really improve your overall ability. So today's video wasn't one about physical strength, although physical strength is important and we should all get as strong as it is possible for us as individuals to get. Today's video wasn't about having a physical weakness and working to overcome it, because by identifying that and working to overcome it, you've become strong. Today's video is about realizing you have a weakness, realizing you have a flaw, getting bested by someone, and not identifying a way that you can use that to your advantage, not identifying a way that you can use that to improve yourself and move forward. So being physically weak, to an extent, that's acceptable. Having a weakness that you're working to overcome, that's acceptable. Having a weakness identified to you, or identifying for yourself a weakness that you have, and passing the buck, or choosing not to change, or just trying to ignore it, or only work with people where you don't have to face up to that weakness, that's not acceptable. That's something you need to fix. That's a flaw in you that needs working on, and it's something that's really important for you to work on as soon as possible. So that was today's video. Just a quick talk about weakness and why we need to push through, work through adversity, and always be trying to improve.